Welcome back to Sledgehammer Horror, guys. I am Ken Sledge, and let's talk horror. Now, today I am joined by the amazing BJ Mambo. BJ, how are you doing today, brother?
Good, Kim, man. How are you?
Dude, I am doing very well. It's an honor for me to have you here, man. We've been talking for a while. To actually finally get you on the show means a whole lot to me. But before we talk about the reason why you're here, I want to talk about you a little bit. BJ's been working in the film industry for about 13 years, but he has been a fan of films his whole life, much like the rest of us. He got really into horror when he was about 11, 12 years old, which is about the perfect time for horror to be coming into your life. He's had his YouTube channel for almost 2 years now. The page consists of reaction reviews and movie mashups, as well as recuts. So, what can you tell people first off a little bit about your YouTube page? What is it? What do you do over there?
Yeah, thank you again. And yeah, basically what you said, I'll do a lot of reactions, like trailer reactions, movie reviews, sometimes album reviews, like music. And a lot of the majority of the stuff is also a lot of recuts and mashups. So I'll take two scenes from sometimes two different movies and recut them together. Like you've probably seen those all over the web. And I just love doing those, man. I mean, like even before YouTube, like I used to love the old like recut trailers, making The Shining a comedy and stuff like that. And then as soon as I was able to figure out how to do it, I was like, I kind of obsessed with it. And they're a lot of fun to make, and they're the most popular videos on that channel. So I thank you for everyone who checks those out, and thank you again.
No. So what gave you the push to want to, like you said, you've always been a big fan of that, as have I. I've always loved that. But what gave you the push to finally go, you know what? I could do this for myself. I could make my own page doing this. Like, what gave you that motivation to finally turn it into your own YouTube page?
Really just like figuring out that, oh, I could do this. Like, I could physically get clips now off of sources and like YouTube and stuff. And like I have the right editing program now, which is Adobe Premiere Pro. And yeah, I don't know. I mean, that's pretty much it. I mean, it's funny. The channel started for basically to do reviews, and it seems like it really turned into a lot of more of the recuts and reactions. And I only done probably a few reviews, to be completely honest. But yeah, did that answer the question?
Yeah. Yeah, no, and I gotta say, man, one of my absolute favorites that you've ever done was Chucky and Home Alone. Like that shit was on point. That was great. And I have a link for that episode right down here in the description, as well as all of BJ's social media links and his YouTube link. So you can subscribe to his YouTube channel and you can follow him on social media, because you're going to be missing out. A lot of his recuts, the Child's Play 2019 trailer recut was amazing. As a big Chucky fan, obviously, you know that I'm going to gravitate towards the Chucky stuff, but a lot of the stuff you do over there is ingenious, man. And I'm really happy for you. I'm really glad that we get this chance to work together. We could try to get that channel out there a little bit, because Home Alone 2 and Chucky are two movies that I absolutely adore. And I will say this, the Marv electrocution literally had me laughing out loud while I was at work and watching it. So great job, man. It was really awesome to watch you put those together. And you guys can check those out by clicking the links down in the description right now. So what I want to do now, BJ, is I do want to flip the tables here a little bit. We talk about what you're doing now with the channel and how you started watching horror at 11 years old, but we need to find out exactly what it was that got you started in the horror genre. So let's go back to that. Let's go back to the past, my friend. Talk about the first horror movie you watched. And BJ, your first horror movie was?
I believe it was Halloween 1978. John Carpenter's.
What an amazing way to start your horror life, man. It's become such an iconic movie. And even though I may not be the biggest fan of the film or the biggest fan of the franchise, there's absolutely no denying the huge impact this movie has had in the horror world. So we know you were about 11, 12 years old when you seen this. Do you remember who you were with the first time you had watched it?
Well, I was a little bit younger than that, because I was young enough when I wasn't really allowed to watch R-rated movies. I remember we were at my friend's birthday party. He was like 3 years older. So I could have been 9. I could have been around then. And I remember asking my dad, like, can I watch this? And he's like, yeah. And I was like, it was awesome, dude. It was probably even my first R-rated movie too, to be completely honest. But then yeah, 11 and 12 is when I really started, like, being able to see and watch the horror movies and R-rated movies. And then I just like kind of became obsessed with them, and just started buying all of them, and VHS, of course. And yeah, just became obsessed, man. Got real into it around 11, 12. Yeah.
Oh, dude, I completely agree, because that's something that I grew up at a video store, so VHSs are something very special to me. My parents owned a video store, and being able to watch movies whenever I wanted to was always super important to me. You said you watched it at a friend's house. Was it like a birthday party or just like a like a hangout night or something?
It was a birthday party. It was like during the day, and he was like, "Oh, I have Halloween on VHS." I don't know if they rented it or bought it, or I don't remember, but and I should have been like, I was such a wimp. I was just talking to my wife about that. I should have been like, "Yeah, let's go watch it," but I still like went down and like asked if I could watch it, and luckily I was. And but yeah, I wish, but yeah, it was a birthday party, so there was a group of people there. It was a good time, man.
Well, and when you have a group of people there doing it like that, it also makes it a little bit easier for you to be like, yeah, let's do this, because at that age you got all your friends there with you, so it's easier for you to play the tough guy part. Like, yeah, I got this. We could watch Michael Myers. Oh yeah. Whereas if you were just by yourself, you'd be like, no, I'm good. I'm gonna go back to Ren and Stimpy for a little bit.
That's right.
So this movie is very impactful, and it's had an impact on the horror genre since 1978. So do you remember which scene it was that affected you the most?
Yeah, you know what I remember, honestly, what stood out the most was the scene, and it's weird because it's not even Michael Myers, but it's when Dr. Loomis and the nurse, I don't know, I can't think of her name. I can't think of what the nurse's name is, but they pull up to the asylum to, check Michael, and all the inmates are in the white robes in the rain, just like roaming around. And I just remember it was just like a scary imagery. And I just remember that jumping out. It was right at the beginning, and I remember thinking, like, "Oh shit, man!" Like being right off the bat, being scared. Um, yeah, that was honestly the main scene I feel like jumped out, and maybe because it was early on in the movie, because we could have been talking. I mean, I don't really, but like I just remember that specific scene just definitely jumped out. Just kind of random, but
Well, it's amazing because right after that, you get Michael jumping into the car and actually driving off with the car and stealing the car, initiating the whole, how the hell did this guy learn how to drive when he's been in an asylum the whole time? So
yeah, that's true.
it's amazing though, like that scene does create this some sort of like the atmosphere that this scene alone is creating. You're in for it now. Like this guy has created hell at an asylum, and we didn't have to watch it happen for it to, for us to know how bad what's going on is.
That's a good way to put it. Yeah, it's totally. Yeah, I totally agree. That's right, man. It's freaky, man.
Yeah, because like we know that, yeah, he's broken out. Yeah, he's doing all these different things about the asylum, but we didn't see it happen. But we know it couldn't have been good because this one man was able to break all these people out and cause enough chaos to where you've got inmates literally running the place. They're walking outside, they're doing all this crazy shit, and he just jumps in a car and steals it and takes off. So
Yeah,
no, I'm with you. I think that really sets the precedent for where the movie's going to be going after that.
yeah. And then you look at Rob Zombies, and I guess he explained some of that shit. But do you like his movie? I don't know. To sidetrack. Were you a fan of the Rob Zombie Halloween?
Um, yes. I am a fan of the theatrical cut. Um, I am not a fan of the director's cut. My trigger, I guess you could say, is sexual assault / rape, and the violence and brutality of the sexual assault scene when they're in the mental institution. And Rob Zombie's director's cut was a little too much for me.
Yeah,
So that's something that
it
I
was.
just can't do it. Like, it makes me physically uncomfortable. It makes my body feel hot. It makes me angry. I can't do it. It's something that I can't stomach to watch. Um, but
Pretty
going
rough.
back and doing a revisit, yeah, it really is. And doing a revisit of the film on the theatrical cut, I have two of my best friends in the world, Ryan 1988, Justin, and the Lost River Drive-In, Nick, and they're huge fans of this movie, and they're like, dude, you got to watch it. Please just watch the theatrical cut, give it another chance. I did, and I really did like it. I think that he did a lot. He took a lot of risks. I don't like the backstory of Michael as a kid. I don't like that. I like the idea that he wasn't bad because of his upbringing. He wasn't bad because of his shitty stepdad or a stripper mom. He was bad just because he was evil. Dr. Loomis
Yeah,
gave you the speech of,
Blackest eyes, the devil's eyes.
like he was just pure evil. And I think that that's what made Halloween 1978 so scary, is the fact that it's just an evil human being from the rip. There was no reason. he didn't have this traumatic event that turned him that way. He was just born pure evil. And I think that is what makes Michael Myers such an icon, is this pure evil. There's no reason, there's no rhyme, there's nothing. It wasn't a kid that drowned in a lake. It wasn't a guy that was a sexual predator and got burned in a building and then came back to get revenge on the people that killed him. It's just somebody that's pure fucking evil, dude. And I think that's one of the scariest things in the whole world. So, but yeah, to answer your question, that was a very long-winded answer.
That was good.
Short, yes, I like Rob Zombie's Halloween much more than the first time I had seen it. I do.
Sweet.
I appreciate the film very much.
Sweet.
Now, we know which scene affected you the most, but what would you say your favorite scene from Halloween 1978 is?
In the bed with the gravestone, like Annie dead on the bed with the gravestone was cool imagery. That was probably something else as a kid that was probably like, oh shit. So we can go with that, maybe Michael wearing the white, the sheet over him. And I did like that, not to go back to Rob Zombie's one, but I did like that they kind of tricked you, if you remember. But I don't know, that was pretty creepy. Yeah, let's go with Annie in the bed with the headstone. Let's go with that.
Right. And again, a great scene. And again, because that something happened. He goes to the gravesite and you find out that the headstone is missing. And then to see it there, placed on the bed, imagery, man. John Carpenter knew what he was doing with that. So you brought it up a little bit here a second ago. As horror fans, we love the kills. We gravitate to the kills. The kills is something that has always gotten us. What kill would you say is your favorite from Halloween 78?
And this is hopefully an unexpected answer. I feel like everyone says the knife in the wall, but let's go with, what's this, Judith? That's a sister. Let's go with her young Michael killing her at the beginning. Let's go with that. Like, fuck, too vulnerable. Yeah, let's go with that.
The first boobies I ever seen, and they were on a dead girl. So
I was gonna say as a kid that and I didn't want to. Like that was something I totally would have. I'm sure I remembered as a kid, like, oh my god, because the word right at the beginning, and then like a little bit later on, I'm like, this is great. Because back then, that's all we had, man. We're around the same age, I think, and it was
boobies, man.
Pre-internet, like all we had with our Halloween VHSs. That's all I had, at least.
Well, I mean, we kind of touched on it a little bit, and I didn't ask your opinion because I was going to ask it here now. Remakes are all the rage in Hollywood, obviously, and they did do a remake, being Rob Zombie's remake of Halloween. Are you a fan of the Rob Zombie's Halloween film?
Yeah, I like it probably more than most, man. I used to like his second one, and I watched them all last year, and I'll watch them all again, and hopefully I could do reviews on them all. I used to like 2, and I watched the theatrical version of 2 because I thought it would be better than the director's cut of 2. And I don't know. 2 definitely didn't hold up, but the first one I think I don't know, man. I would put in at least the top 5. I would think. I tell you what, I like Rob Zombies a lot more than the new ones. I'm not crazy about these new ones, and but I know I'm alone on that, and people love these new ones, and I try to. I don't know. I start questioning myself. You know what I mean? Once if you don't really like something, but everyone else does, it's just like shit, man. Like how could that? Statistically, like I have to be wrong, right? But I don't know, man. I like Rob Zombie's Halloween a lot more than these past 2, to be honest.
Well, I mean, the best part is, if all of us felt the exact same way, there'd be no point in doing these podcasts. There'd be no point in doing reviews because we would all think the exact same way. I love the fact that people have different opinions in the horror world because it makes life that much better for us to be able to talk about these things and learn these things about each other. So we learned about your first horror movie, BJ, and what that movie means to you, being Halloween 1978. But now my little buddy Ghostface is here, and he has a question for you. What's your favorite scary movie, BJ? What is your favorite horror movie of all time?
You know what, man? Let's just go with The Shining, probably. Yeah, I like it. Hey, again, maybe that's a cliche answer too, but it's just like I just love Stanley Kubrick, man, and it just seems like it's one of those movies where like and it's so analyzed, which is fun. So I feel like it's more than just a movie. It's just I don't know. I feel like it has a lot going for it. Whether kids like it these days, I don't know if it's too slow for today's audience, but yeah, let's go with The Shining.
Well, and the thing is, like, I feel like The Shining holds up today. I think The Shining's just as unnerving, and the movie's all about mental health and alcoholism, and I think it holds up just as well today as it ever did.
Sweet. I agree. I think so. And it's creepy, man. And it's just well acted. I mean, like, I think if you get any horror movie that's just well acted, it always seems to work. Like you say, The Exorcist, or I don't know. Yeah. Yeah. Let's go with The Shining. The Thing's great too. And Halloween is up there probably. But yeah, let's go with The Shining.
Mm-hmm. Well, I still think The Exorcist is probably the scariest movie ever made. But I agree with you. I think The Shining, it's up there. And even though personally I like Doctor Sleep more than I do The Shining, but again, this is about personal preference. I like them both a lot. Like, it's like 1A and 1B, like they're right there with each other. But there's something about Doctor Sleep that just hooks me every time I watch it.
I haven't seen it.
Movie so much. Oh, dude, you gotta see it. It is a sequel to The Shining. It's Danny Torrance grown up. And it's amazing. It's so good, dude. And it's got one of my favorite villains of all time, Rose the Hat. I think she is one of the scariest, darkest villains in any horror movie. She's so good, dude.
Yeah, I gotta do, man. I gotta do it.
Yeah. So BJ, we talked about, your first horror movie, your favorite horror movie, man, and having everybody get to know you to me is so awesome. And I really hope that you guys click these links down in the description so you can follow him on social media and subscribe to the YouTube channel, because you're going to love the videos that he recuts. Now, we always go back to the same question before we end this, BJ, and we're going to go back to a skull count. Now, what we're doing here, we're not ranking Halloween 1978 on acting, production, score, direction, nothing like that. What we're doing here is strictly ranking this movie on how much it affected you on first viewing. So 0 skulls being not effective, 5 being extremely effective. You can use half and quarter skulls anywhere in the middle. BJ, what would your ranking of Halloween 1978 be?
Let's go with, you said like influential, right? Like what kind of, let's go with, I don't know. Let's go with 4.
And that's perfect.
Yeah.
I mean, it's obviously impacted your life to where it still means that much to you today.
Yeah, let's go with 4, because I feel like, I'm not saying I would put Evil Dead above Halloween, but as far as like that question, like Evil Dead would have got 5. Like that's what I don't know why I compared it to that, but I was thinking like, what would I give that? Because I feel like Halloween would be a little bit. So yeah, let's go with 4. 4 skulls.
Perfect, man. So I do want to say again, man, thank you, BJ, for coming on here and hanging out with me and having everybody get to learn how horror started for you, man, because horror to me is one of the most important things in the world. It's subjective. It's fun. We all need it a little bit. So to have you come on here and tell me about how it started for you really means a lot to me. Now, BJ, don't go anywhere, my friend. I got a couple more questions for you. Everybody else, as always, keep talking horror. Stay what you are. And we'll see you guys soon.